Welcome to Respect is Growing, or welcome back. As I say, it's nice to see a new or familiar face. Today, there's something I've been wanting to do, which is bake tea biscuits. The weather's sort of shifting, we can all feel it, but we don't want to actually accept it. At least I'm talking for myself right now. And along with that, this is sort of my go-to. Tea biscuits have sort of a nostalgia also connected to them as well. It takes me right back to my grandparents' kitchen when my grandpa and grandma have made some tea biscuits, and we can put all the margarine and jelly and peanut butter we want to on them. So join me today as I make a simple tea biscuit. Now this is not my family's recipe, however this is very close. I found this online. My husband also loves them too, so it kind of checks both boxes off. Speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and leave Ronald's information for you as well. He is normally the one behind this counter, and we're switching places, so I'm normally the one behind the camera because he does cooking videos. And today I'm going to be baking instead, but it's going to be fun all along. So let's get started. So to start, I have preheated the oven to 450. It's going, and if you eventually will hear that beep, which means it's ready. And then the next step was I got 2 cups of flour pre-measured in this bowl, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Don't mind me, I will be checking on the phone to make sure I get the right proportions with ingredients. Alright, that's all the dry ingredients put into the bowl. Just to be thorough, it was 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 4 teaspoons of baking powder, plus a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. But I'm going to do just a quick mix so it's all combined. I don't know if you're able to hear that, but we're having a severe thunderstorm warning for Ontario right now, and that's just the rain. In total, I'm going to need half a cup of margarine, or it says butter if you have it. And then finally, 1 cup of cold milk. Now it's time to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. As I said, I already gave that little bit of a mix. So everything that I put in previously is already combined. It's best to add this margarine or even butter in slowly. So you don't just take this all in and clump it into the flour. So I'm going to do just little bits like this. You simply continue doing these sort of chunks until all the half a cup is gone. And it's important to note, cut this in. That's exactly how the instructions state it, and that simply looks like this. Just like you would be using a knife. And as you can see, it makes clumps with the flours as you go. Okay, so now it's time to add more. So especially if you compare it to what we had before, there's now all these tiny little clumps all throughout the mixture. Alright, time for the milk. Now, even though the recipe calls for 1 cup of cold milk, you don't just add the whole thing in at once. So I'm going to do little splashes here and there. You may not even need all of the 1 cup, but you just have it there in case. Okay, I'll start with that. The important thing to remember is to not over mix, because then that affects how it bakes. You just want it to be absorbing the milk, but not too tacky or like it would come off on you. See right now, this, you don't want it to come off on your finger. I'm going to have to add a little, like the smallest amount of flour, because if we look here, even though I didn't add all the 1 cup of milk, as you can see here, it's still sort of tacky or liquidy. I'm not certain if that's the right word, but anyways, I just know that this is too wet right now. So I'm gonna add, like I said, the smallest amount of flour so it can absorb. This is exactly what I was looking for. So as you can see, I didn't add very much at all. Perfect. Now we're ready to roll it out. You don't want it too thick, but you still want it to be a little substantial in height. This now goes in the oven at 450 for 10 to 12 minutes. So you're just going to check it after the 10-minute mark. Few more minutes and they'll be ready. It's time. Cannot wait to get in this. Normally I put margarine. I know it's already baked with a lot of margarine, but I put another layer of margarine on the inside. I just can't wait right now. So let's bite in. As you can see, it's nicely baked on the inside and fluffy, especially you can see here. That's why it's important to not over knead or overwork your dough, because you lose that fluffiness and it gets really heavy. Now it's time to try it. Like I said, tea biscuits are really nostalgic for me. I make these often when I make soup. Today though, I will have it with a cup of tea. Actually, let's call my husband in because I'm sure he's dying to have some.
Alright, let's see. Sorry.
as he proceeds to eat it all.
It's not that good.
Give me some.
Right. It's actually really good. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming along with me as I bake these tea biscuits. Of course, you can always make these however you like. If you like cheese in your tea biscuits, add that in before you roll it out. As simple as that. I don't, raisins, I'm not a fan of raisins, but if you happen to be, just add them in there. So many things you can do that makes this your own. If you saw anything that you liked, please consider a like, share, and subscribe. I make new content and post one video each week.
Well, you all know I'm gaining weight. So it's not just on me, it's on her.
You can always go to his channel and see what he does with all his push-ups, however.
I know.
To counteract maybe these tea biscuits. I have to admit, I don't make these very often because, as you can probably tell, they don't last long in our house.
Yeah.
So, it's more like it's a special treat when this happens. Everyone, have a good evening, day, and I'll see you next time.